What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and once again I am joined here with
Gershwan.
And today we're back to answer your questions in another tingly episode of For the Greater.
I got tingly when you said tingly.
Good.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewers. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. I feel like my hair is flatter than normal. I don't know why.
I feel like I'm about to throw up any second now because I got new glasses and everything looks topsy-turvy.
You know what helps? Getting really high. Or does it make it worse? I can't remember. We could try it.
Yeah, why not?
This question comes from Cy Shingleton. He says, looking at the current Imperium, do you feel that the Edict of Nikaea was a good call? Let's explain what the Edict of Nikaea or the Council of Nicaea did. So basically, during the Great Crusade, the Emperor came together with all of his Primarchs, and he was like, yo, some of you guys don't like psychic powers. Some of you guys do. Psychic powers turn out to be pretty bad, because it's really hard to control them, and it can like completely destroy an entire expeditionary fleet if a rogue psyker goes bananas.
That's exactly how he said it.
Yeah, and so then the council. So there was debate because obviously you have Magnus the Red, who's like, "Don't take my psychic powers away. I'm not going to wear a mask." And then you had like Lehman Russ.
Lehman Russ, Mortarion, yeah.
He's like, "No, we should wear masks." And then. So eventually the Emperor said, no more psychic powers.
And not just that, but we're going to put a certain specific type of Marine within each of your ranks to make sure things are going according to plan.
Yeah.
And that is the Chaplain.
That is where he was born, yes. And then that obviously backfired because it made those psychically powerful individuals or legions like the Word Bearers, the what is it, Thousand Sons?
Thousand Sons, yeah.
Most chapters had psychic powers, so it did that, and not only that, but because psychic powers were not a thing within the Space Marine legions, when Chaos actually did come out, you couldn't really fight them. They had to run to gather a bunch of what is it called? Oh, that was the. So basically the Grey Knights. They had to form the Grey Knights in order to fight these Chaos space trader Marines that were destroying the Imperium. So was that a good decision? In my opinion, no. Obviously not. They should have played to those strengths.
Yeah, you got to fight fire with fire, literally. So do you think if they would have, like if they didn't do this, would that have changed the outcome of like the heresy and all that?
I think so, because I think that understanding what was going on with psychics would lead to understanding more of the warp, which would lead to more understanding of the chaos gods. So when Lorgar and like all the ones that were secretly worshiping the chaos gods without knowing, they called them the old gods. They would have been like, aha, like these guys are bad and they're actually trying to destroy us.
Yeah, they would have literally said that. Aha, these guys are bad.
I could picture Lorgar saying that. Yeah. And then Erebus is like, no. But yeah. Yeah,
it's interesting. There is like I don't know why, but I'm just keep going to the battle that happened on Tizca.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with like a freaking Grey Knight, or not the Grey Knights, the Thousand Sons and the Space Wolves going at it, and the use of psychic powers and all that. So
that is another good example because it was a bad blood, and the bad blood occurred from the very beginning of like, you shouldn't use psychic powers, and I'm being reinforced in my belief by my Emperor, who is also saying, you know, the Edict of Nikaea or whatever. So yeah. Even though Space Wolves fight with everybody.
That's true. Dark Angels. Everybody catches these hands. What are your thoughts below? Do you think it was a good idea to say no to psychic powers, or yes, just embrace it?
This question comes from Matt Howell. Is Nurgle creating COVID? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's deadly enough. Or, no.
But still,
Nurgle wouldn't create something that kills somebody, though.
Because you're still spreading it.
Yeah, but he would want to do... Like, Nurgle's rot doesn't kill you. It turns you into a plague marine.
Right.
Or a plague something or another. So until we get zombies, it's not Nurgle.
Which it's coming. Or is it? Maybe it's already here. This next one is by Timothy Armstrong. So, what rarely talked about Space Marine chapter and their Primarch do you want to see more lore on? First chapter that comes to mind is the White Scars and the Khan. But I also want more lore on, like, just in general about, like, the Iron Hands. Because, I mean, they're good on the tabletop, but I just want more lore about them.
Did he say, like... Because... Did he say loyalist?
No, just in general.
Oh, well then I would really want to learn more about the Alpha Legion.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's kind of like the key to unlocking what's really going on. So.
Yeah. Trader side, I'd want to see more about the Word Bearers. Because it's like maybe we'll get some lore, some info on Lorgar and his meditation on that tower for all these thousands of years and what exactly that's doing.
It's true. Next question.
This one's by Jamie Garth. Was the Webway going to enable FTL?
What's that?
Faster than light travel?
Oh, yeah, obviously. Mm-hmm. So, because the Webway is basically a wormhole, it works exactly the same as warp jumps. No, warp jumps, but without having to rely on a navigator to lead you through the chaotic warp.
Mm-hmm. But also kind of like Nightcrawler.
Yeah, kind of.
Because when he bamfs, he actually goes into like hell, and then he comes out.
And his dad is the devil.
Mm-hmm. And his mama's Mystique.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert from like 400 years ago.
Even though I think the movies don't follow that, right?
I don't know.
I don't feel like they do.
It's been so long ago that I don't really remember. Jacob Hamilton. Are there any stories where the Orcs can hold off a Tyranid Hive fleet?
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah. The one that's going on currently in the Octavius?
The GW has used both names, so...
Yeah. In Armageddon.
And, well, Armageddon... No, there's no Tyranids on Armageddon.
No?
No.
Oh.
But yeah, the Octarian Wars or the Octavius Wars, that's probably my favorite campaigns or battles or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't talk about it because it's Tyranids versus Orcs. There's no room for Space Marines, so they can't talk about it.
I just want to see what kind of Tyranids are going to be created from all this like spores and Orc stuff going into them.
Yeah. This question comes from Yarshman. What languages are spoken throughout the Imperium, and if there are many, what is the most common spoken?
Probably Duranguense.
I don't even think that's a language.
It's just like a dialect or something.
Yeah. Low Gothic, High Gothic are the two most common ones. They're pretty self-explanatory, right? High Gothic is for the...
upper class.
Yeah, and then Low Gothic is for the scum of the earth. So, like 99% of the Imperium.
That's true. Yeah. This one's by Bunny Hop. What would a Witcher be like in the 40K universe?
A witch hunter. So, Ordo Malleus.
Yeah. Even though they're considered mutants in the Witcher lore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because they're not human.
Demon hosts.
There you go. Somewhat. Kind of. Yeah.
Next question comes from... Guild of Noobs, Lord Dobbersift. And then he has a picture of a lord looking up, which is pretty cool. If most Space Marines don't worship the Emperor, then what religion do they follow? You see them praying, reciting verses, they have chaplains. It looks like they are religious, but are they? And if so, what are they worshiping? Well, think of the SSR or like communist Russia or any communist kind of nation. They venerate their leader, which is the Emperor. That doesn't mean that they worship that leader. Well,
yes and no.
Yeah, they don't pray. Well,
they don't see the Emperor as a god.
Right.
But they still do everything that you would normally do to praise a god.
Yeah.
Without thinking he's a god.
Like the North Koreans. with Kim Jong, all of them, where they don't. Some of them, they understand that he is mortal, but he's still one of the best.
Unless you're a Black Templar, then you think that.
Right. Then you just worship him.
It's wishy-washy, and I think that's what Lorgar wanted, and he got it. This one's by Voltage 3D. Considering the Orcs' physical, technological, and spacefaring as well as industrial growth is based upon the challenges that they face, would you agree that the reason as to why we haven't seen a progression of the Orcs to the level of Krork is a result of their environment that, although violent and grimdark, is not violent or desperate enough to switch on that gene?
Well, you see it in the Blood Axe clan. So you are right. It is cultural, or it is environmental, but the environmental pressures are themselves. So it's like odd boys, the speed freaks, the bad moons, the goths that push down the militaristic-minded orcs and their leaders.
Yeah, so even though you have that debate of nature versus nurture, at the end of the day, might makes right.
Right. Yep. So if there's a goth clan dude, he's gonna stomp you, which is what God School's doing.
And that's what their stampas are for. Their stampas have either if it's a Gork stampa, it's Black Air Forces. But if it's a Mork stampa, then it's easily Tim's.
Right.
Palabra de Dios.
Te la vamos, señor.
Hey.
This question comes from Christopher Penna. Hey guys, what happened to Warhammer Fantasy? I got into fantasy because of Vermintide, but can't find lore videos like the ones you guys make. So Warhammer Fantasy, or Old World, is coming back. When is it coming back? I don't know, because of COVID.
Yeah.
But
it is a thing that will be returning. So like the Tomb Kings will be coming back, the elves.
Yep. I wonder if they're going to rewrite the end times then.
That's interesting, yeah.
Because, it was lore that just ended. And then Games Workshop switched over to Age of Sigmar. And the explanation, lore-wise, I don't think is there. But we know it's because, money. They wanted to make Warhammer Fantasy more like 40K. And it worked. Because Age of Sigmar is really fun.
It is, yeah. And I think for a good while, the store we usually go to, they said that Age of Sigmar games were more popular than 40K games.
Yeah. He might have just been trying to sell us on
That's
Age of
true.
Sigmar, which it worked.
Yeah.
I bought Beasts of War that are just sitting there now.
I mean, that's what I like about Age of Sigmar, is that the mounts are really cool. And you don't really see too many mounts in 40K.
And you don't have that much shooting, which I really like. Next question.
This one is by Daniel B. How do you make the sign of the Amnesia? Hold on. We gotta make sure we in the right hood.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. That's not the Amnesia.
That's the Aquila.
Yes, so I don't know.
Oh, he just did.
Like that. Beep, boop, boop. That one.
Where's my toaster at? This guy says, some of these greater walls aren't even Warhammer anymore. At this point, it's just life lessons in anatomy.
Mostly, like, we've taught so many people that pee is stored in the balls.
We talked about the gallbladder and its many miraculous inventions.
Yep, it's basically our gene seed organ. And then we've talked about how, what's the powerhouse of the cell?
A Bridget B.
Bridget B is the powerhouse of the cell. Blessed be the Bridget B. Next question.
This one's once again by the homie, Jamie Garth. Given enough time, could the Tau develop strong enough psychers or a large enough presence in the warp to create their own gods and demons, given that the humans have manifested the Legion of the Damned amongst others? Nah. I think that's one thing that they're not really going to touch too much on for the Tau, because their thing is very small register in the warp, no psychers. And if they give them that, then what's like? That's just putting them in the same group as everybody else.
Right. And we don't want to do that. We want to specialize these. Well, GW wants to specialize these armies as best they can.
Right. Because if you do give them warp abilities, depending on what abilities they get, they could become even more powerful in the shooting phase, or they could have a chance in melee.
I thought they were going to do that with the Necrons, like the Cryptex, but the Cryptex still are not Psychers, right?
They work similar, but they're not.
Do they still have a Psyker phase?
I think, well, no, it depends. I haven't really looked at them that in depth, but they do have abilities that either go off in the command phase or in the psychic phase. Yeah, it's weird.
This question comes from Ty Shingleton. How much would a single feather from Sanguinius be worth? Probably like 35
35 what?
thrones.
Is one of them the Iron Throne?
Yes. No, I mean, I don't really know. Like, it would be priceless. Do you know who probably does have one? Old boy Trazen the Infinite. Because he had to have,
Yeah. He got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Except COVID.
Well, we don't know.
That's true.
Maybe he created COVID. Next question. Well, he's not really a scientist, though. He's just a collector.
Yeah.
Next question.
This one is by Chad Skogfelt. I think that's how you pronounce it. Before the Emperor created the Astronomicon, how were they using the warp to travel? Would it be just short jumps because of all of us being so dependent upon it? Or did they just wait until the Astronomicon was fully functional?
No, they would still do it.
Yeah. Sometimes the reward was greater than the risk, so it's like, F it.
Right. And yeah, because there was success, but obviously not as much success.
Yeah. Think of it as like, what's that one movie? Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah. They went into the warp, well, quote unquote, the warp, without knowing what exactly could happen, but they came out all right, right?
No. Spoiler alert. But yeah. This question, this is not a question, but it's a nice little comment. James in Paint says, "Holy moly, I watch you now since a year." So I guess he hadn't seen us since a year. And your muscles grow. Nice one. Keep it on. Looks good. But you still tired on the new clips. Haha.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like no matter how swole you get, you still get tired.
You get even more tired because your body has to like send the message to all the muscles that are growing.
Yeah.
Too much communication. That's how muscles work, right?
Lactic acid and whatnot.
That carries the message. Yeah.
It's like they're the powerhouse of the muscle.
Right.
Lactic acid.
And then they say, the balls are getting too inflated. Release. And then
the muscle gets bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So when you get turned on, it just means you need to go pee.
Kels. Ethan Paredes. That means walls. Will the tech priests ever leave the Imperium? If so, what would be the aftermath?
We kind of talked about this at the beginning of yesterday's video.
Yeah.
A civil war.
Probably. Because, I mean, tech priests are like the lactic acid of the muscles. If they leave, then it's like the Adeptus Mechanicus and overall the Mechanicum won't be able to function properly.
And you can't get new things.
They'd be like, release. And they'd be like, beep, boop, boop.
And then you die.
All because Paredes means walls.
Yep. And this does happen. So that is what the Dark Mechanicus is. It's just basically the bunch of priests getting together and being like, you know what? Fuck this. Let's create some AI.
Yeah.
And then they become dark.
Right. Because it's like, oh, you're telling me I can't experiment and create new things? Oh, that's considered heresy? Well, guess what? I'm a heretic now.
Yep. Release.
And then you see like awesome abominations. That's what I want. I want a freaking army for the Dark Mechanicus.
Me too.
But no, they won't give it to us.
If you guys know any like cool kit bashers that do some cool Dark Mechanicus stuff, let us know what they are in the comment section below. Hopefully they're on Instagram, because Instagram's like when it comes to showcasing miniatures. So yeah. But yeah. Those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening. Talk to you tomorrow.
And as always, this is
Gershwan
with the Sound Alchemist, and we are out.
to put my freedom back.